Hi guys, welcome back. We're so excited that you're here. Today's episode is all about how to have more clarity and flow in your business. And we thought this was a perfect episode, especially going into the new year, right?
It really is, because that's what everybody wants, right? We want more clarity. And the more clarity that you have, the easier your business will start to generate the results you're looking for. The money coming in and the impact on the clients.
Exactly. And I think the big thing is first of all, we know that New Year's is coming up. So that's like, it's important to use the energy of New Year's Eve, because once you use the energy of the collective, of the buzz of the new year, you're using that to your advantage. There's already momentum built. There's excitement around that. Do you have to wait for New Year's to do something big for your business? No, actually, because we're always doing stuff for our business. But it's something to use because it's almost like that moment of reflection of what could I do differently for that next year.
Exactly. It's like the seasons. If you're going to plant something, there's a perfect time to plant it. And that's what I'm thinking of right now. Like with New Year's Eve, it's like that's the seasons of human nature, to where around that time we all set our intentions. And when you got the collective and all of these different minds doing the same thing, it's like our masterminds that we do. It's more power, the more minds that are doing it.
But it's funny because recently I've been hearing people say, oh, I know 2022 is going to be so much better. And I'm thinking, well, it's going to be the same, whatever you make it. So you have to, if you think it's going to be better, it will be better, you know? So really it's not changing much, but it's the point of the intention of getting clear on what it is that you want. And we always say at the end of this episode, really it's about reflection. And that's when you're going to start to even notice more things, when you start to reflect on what you currently have in your business and what you've had in the past.
Exactly, because you think, like your first blush, you think, oh, to build a successful business, I just have to work, and go all day long. And sometimes you have to do that, but other times you're doing that and you're not getting anywhere, because you're just trying to jam a triangle in a square and you think that this 24/7 hustle is going to get it. And sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and if you're not clear on what you want to do for a business, then you could be working 24/7 and nothing's happening.
Right, exactly. So I can remember 4.5, 5 years ago when I first started in my business after I left teaching in the public schools. I wasn't even clear on my offerings. I wasn't clear on my services. I wasn't clear on who I was as a person and how I was going to show up in this business. I knew that I wanted to have a human potential company. That's what I called it when I was 21 years old, several years ago. And I knew all these different things. That's why I was a teacher, but I did not have any clue on what my services even were. Can you imagine that? Starting a business and you're not even clear on your services.
And that's a really common thing, actually. That's very common for people to know that I want to start my own business, but I don't know what what I'm offering. And I think it kind of comes up where we start to reevaluate, like, I know that I'm good at this, and I know I like learning about this, but do I feel like I can charge for that? And am I sure about it? And there might be multiple passions that you have. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs have multiple passions. So that's what that problem that comes up is, where do I go first?
Right, where do I go first? What do I offer? And what do I call it? That's the thing that I got hung on a lot. And I realized over time that what you call it, think of the best thing to call it, but don't put that on a pedestal. Because what I realized, like, my clients, they don't give a shit if I say I'm sprinkling fairy dust, or if I call myself the intuitive doctor or whatever it is. Because once we do our services, once I have my one-on-one sessions or we do our masterminds, it's the experience of it, right?
That's true.
And it's a transformation, and they know this is resonated or it's not. And a lot of times they'll even forget what you call yourself.
That's true. And I used to get stuck on my logo when I first started. I was very hung up on my logo, and my name was Love Energy first. And I don't know how long that lasted. It could have lasted like 3 years. I'm not sure, maybe 2. And then I'm like, wait, how are people going to remember this name? Like, I need to, have my own name as my logo.
Love Energy, can I get a reading?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they knew it was me, but like, But the actual design of the logo too is like a huge thing for me. I was like, I want to make sure this looks good, and it was a whole process. So this is stuff that comes up when it comes to your business. But I feel like the big thing, we're talking about minor things at the beginning of business with trying to maybe figure out your logo or figure out what you're doing. But there's so much more clarity that comes throughout the process of your business. And I think it's really accepting the phases for what they are And not judging it when you're going through the phases.
Exactly, because a lot of times, like I'll hear my clients even saying, I'll think it and feel it sometimes. You're thinking about somebody else and how far ahead they are, and you don't even know their damn story. You don't know how many years it took them to get clear on it. You don't know anything. You're just seeing their video that they have now, or you're seeing whatever you're reading right now and who they are today. And I found there's so much value in me, as simple as it sounds, as me reminding my clients that, look, go study this person's life and realize that it was not an overnight success.
Yeah.
Like they had to pay their work the same way that you are. And you're judging your season 2 to their season 10 or whatever it is, right?
It's so true. And I think that's why you're really big on reading biographies or autobiographies with different business owners, because you can literally see the process of them going through different pieces of their business and how it's altered. If you look back to videos of someone that you've looked up to, and you look back like 10 years before today's date, you'll notice a difference in their energy and their delivery when they're talking about their business. You may even notice that their business has changed. So start to think about, okay, what happened before this moment? Because I know you always say success leaves clues, and that's the common phrase in the entrepreneurship world. But you're going to notice there's different clues that came to this point for different people. And there's a lot of similarities for people too. Think about Les Brown's story and how Les Brown started. If you've ever heard of Les Brown, he's amazing. He's a motivational speaker, but his story was he told a teacher in school that, I can't do that. I can't write. I'm the one that, I don't know if he said how did he word it?
EBD, or educable, mentally
challenged. That's what he was
whatever
telling
the
his
term
teacher.
was, because he was in special ed all throughout high school. Les Brown, it's crazy when you hear him speak today.
Oh yeah, and he is one of the most impactful speakers, and he shared this with a teacher that, actually it wasn't his teacher. I think he was in a homeroom class.
He walked into another homeroom class with his friend, and the teacher said, hey, sir, come up here and write this word for me. And he said, I can't, sir. And the teacher said, why not? And he said, because I'm, and he said the label that they gave him. And the teacher said, I don't ever want to hear you say that again about yourself. And that teacher's name was, I believe, Mr. Washington. Yeah. And that ended up being one of Les's mentors. Like, I'm getting a little emotional talking about it right now because I feel the emotion from Les as he's talking about this. And it's like, if that guy didn't come into his life, we don't know if Les Brown would be Les Brown. Maybe he would have figured it out.
It would have taken a little bit longer, but there could have been something that definitely shifted.
And that's one clue, is when you have people around you that believe in you, that see something in you before you see it in yourself, that's one of the clues there. You have to surround yourself around people that believe in you, that see you for something else that you don't. Like, I can remember times where Lindsay was seeing me in a way, and I'm like, as she's seeing me in this way, I'm like, Lindsay, I don't feel that right now. Like, I don't see it, but even though I knew it, but it's like being around her helped me pull it out. Being around positive people, like-minded people that are doing similar things that I'm doing. Yeah. And realizing that, oh, they're humans too. And if they could do it, I could do it. So all these different things come from having the support.
Yeah, that's another thing, is the clarity is to have support, either a supportive mentor or supportive peers that are doing the same thing that you're doing. If I didn't have all of the mentorship groups that I had, like me attending the mentorship groups, I feel like I would have gone at a lot slower of a rate. It was because I've joined so many mentorships and I've chosen leaders to learn from that have done it and gone through the process with mediumship and business. I study business all the time too. And that's one thing that we always do. We're consistently studying. This isn't just like the end all be all and you think that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're always growing and learning. And I feel like that's what brings clarity, to be around people that have either done it or they're going through what you're going through. So you think, oh my gosh, they're going through this right now too. And you can celebrate with them also, not just, talk about the issues that have come up in the business, but celebrate those good moments too.
Right, the good and the bad. It's one of those things to where, look at this like you're not going to mentors for more information. You're going to them for the transformation. Because that was one of the things that used to stop me. I would think, wait, I already know all this stuff. I know this and I read this because I read a lot of books. I listen to videos every day. I study every single day. So most likely anything that any of my mentors are sharing, I've heard before in a different way. It's not about that. Let all of that go. This isn't about school. K through 12, they fucked you. They told you the wrong things. They said if you memorize all these things, that's how you become successful. That's only one form of success, memorization. It's not about accumulating all this knowledge. It's about being around like-minded people, and then a transformation happens inside of you. How does it happen? I don't know. It's kind of mysterious, but it's like when whoever you're around, it's going to dictate how fast you accelerate in whatever you're doing, whether it's your business or exercise or whatever you're doing.
Well, on a spiritual level of that, I believe that when you're standing in someone's aura or you're in someone's energy field, whether it's through Zoom or in person, you're picking up on the information that they've learned. So I feel like that's one thing on a spiritual level. Second thing is like we talked about before, the belief. When someone has belief in you and you don't even have it in yourself, it makes you reevaluate, like, wait, maybe I can do this. You know, deep down, they can see something in you that you might not see because they've been there before and they can see that potential. And there's other reasons that putting yourself in this group can really excel things for you. And it is like the transformation that you mentioned. Like, it doesn't matter what you learn. The things that really stick are the stories, don't you think? So that's something that I always remember is if my mentor shares a story, or if I share a story, or we share in our business mastermind, they're like, oh, that happened to you? Okay, if you can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, it is. And it is the stories that stick. And then it's also like what I realized, it's like something you can't put your finger on too. You're like, I don't know what happened when I went to this event or that class, but I'm different now. And I think just being okay with that, because a lot of times we want to measure our results. I lost 10 pounds. I made 50,000 more in my business. I did all these different things. And a lot of times it's like, it goes back to the reflection, right? Self-awareness. And this is what Lindsay and I are really big about, is self-awareness. And when you're aware and you're reflecting and you're of your own energy, you know what foods feel right when you're eating them. You know what people feels right when you're around them. And all of these different things come from having this self-awareness and deep reflection.
So it's true. And I feel like it's an added bonus when you notice more in your bank account when something's transforming inside. Like, I know when we work with our business masterminders, the big misconception about our business mastermind is, okay, they're going to have us do more work and we're going to have to put in more hours and then we'll get paid more. And in actuality, it's actually uncovering all the layers from things in your soul and the stories you've told yourself or the situations that you've been in, and how to uncover those. Well, that's your job, Tony, to uncover those with the private sessions. But then when you come back in the group, you start to notice that this vulnerability of allowing yourself to open up, to heal those stories or process them, that awareness, it shifts something. And, you know, we've seen people with writer's block all of a sudden start writing a book. We've seen people overwork by, you know, a crazy amount of hours because they felt like they were like a workaholic. And that changed because they realized that they had to implement more time for themselves. And I feel like that created more peace and clarity. And what ended up happening was there was more than enough money in their bank account, more with less work.
Exactly. And that's what it is. Because it's like, wait, so I need to make more money in my business, I add more. Like you're saying, no, sometimes you have to eliminate. Like, what can we eliminate? And people often forget too that your business, your life affects that. Like your entire life, everything you do, your exercise, your nutrition, especially with the industries that we're in. Most likely you're a spiritual entrepreneur, you're a psychic medium, coach, healer, somebody of that fashion, where you're using your mind, your body to help channel energy, to help heal people, right? In general terms, saying, if you're that kind of person, you really have to pay attention to your entire lifestyle. You're not somebody that just goes to a warehouse, which that's okay, and you unload trucks. You know, I could be hungover. and I could drink for 5 days in a row, I could still go do physical work because I'm just like, let me do it. Now let me go try to do that and go do some calls. Go do some intuitive calls.
That's a whole nother story.
It's a whole nother story. So you really have to be aware the industry you're in, who you are, what you're doing, and realize that it's not just about your business, it's your life. So if we all have baggage. Think about all the baggage that's in your life, all of the drainers that are in your life, everything that's draining you of energy. Well, if you could figure out a way to eliminate each one of those or to transfer each one to a energizer in your life, those are little things that are going to help transform your business. And a lot of times I think that we miss that.
Exactly. And the business and life go hand in hand. And we were actually thinking about the title of this episode, like, and should we add "and life" at the end of it? And I'm like, we could just keep it at business, because the work that you're doing, if you're an entrepreneur, it does bleed over to your personal life. I feel like it goes hand in hand, because you're setting up your lifestyle to figure out what feels right to me. It's so easy to get locked into the system, the website, the system of our world, the society, and working 8 hours a day. I don't believe in that. I do believe that at the very beginning of your business, you do have to put in extra hours. And you can make it fun. It doesn't have to be stressful at all. It could be studying as you're on a bike, or listening to YouTube videos, or whatever this is, and you put in the work and you build up that momentum. But in a regular setting, if you're working with clients 8 hours a day, for me personally, that's not the lifestyle that I want. No. Other people can do it. There's ways that you can do it. And like we talked about before, there's phases in your business where I remember giving 5 readings out of my day, psychic mediumship readings. Then I'm like, whoa, I've done this for I don't know how many years. Okay, it's time to cut back. So I cut it down to 4, then I cut it down to 3, and then it went down to you just need to pay attention to the different levels. And with my private readings, there might be less in certain months when I'm teaching and mentoring. So you really have to have that balance with what feels right to you.
Exactly, to you. Important. And the only way to know, we can't tell you on this episode, do this, 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 and this. We don't even know who you are right now listening to this. If you're in front of us, we can help you. But you have to really reflect and figure out who you are. And that's the whole point of this. So that way you could create a business and a life that kind of go together, right? You a lot of times with people that are in this kind of work, when you look at their business, you look at their life, you won't be able to tell a difference whether they're doing their business or their life, because a lot of times they know how to, smear the lines or blend the lines together.
Yeah, we make it fun. Most of the people that are connected to us know that we love to go to coffee shops, we love to travel. So when we went to Italy, we had our weekly meeting at a coffee shop in Italy. We made it fun, When I go home to Boston or we go to St. Louis, I set up an event there. We're having fun with friends and family, but I will make sure I have an event going on so that I can connect with clients too at that point. And then I might cut down on my private readings when I'm doing it. So that's just something. And then with Tony, he can work with intuitive coaching clients, but set it up so that it happens at the beginning of the trip rather than throughout the whole time. That's kind of how we do things. So it's something to think about when you're setting up what you want out of your life.
Right. And don't think that there's going to be a point to where it's just all feeling good all the time. It's all peaceful. It's all, no matter how much you integrate this into your life, you're a human, we're humans. We get pissed at each other. We get pissed off at our business. We get all these things, right? They all happen. So don't think that as you start to tweak this, it needs to be perfect, because then you have unrealistic expectations. It's kind of like a guy or a girl that thinks that when they get married to somebody, they're supposed to, act like they do in the Disney movies. And it's not always like that, right?
It's true.
We have to have we create our own realities. So focus, visualize what you want, but also remember that we're humans and we're spirits. So that little human side, it's going to create some bullshit in our life, right? It just happens.
And it's how you
work
deal
through
with
it. It's
after.
how you deal with it, right? By understanding it, it takes the edge off. You're no longer, or you understand that it's going to occur. Mm-hmm. You no longer feel guilty about it when it happens. It's not like, oh, my energy is off, the law of attraction, so I need to. It's no, just accept it. It's that
that's
book,
the worst thing.
Loving What Is by Byron Katie.
Yeah.
Loving What Is, and I think that's what I'm trying to say is get to that point too, to where you're okay with what is in this moment. So it's it's a balancing act there.
It is. We want to hear from you. We want to know what insights did you gather from this podcast? We would love to connect with you and hear more about that. I do have a Facebook group, a free pop-up Facebook group, and I'm going to be doing some trainings, and Tony's going to join me for some of them too. So make sure you join that training. I know a lot of you are in that group, so that's coming up.
Next weekend, right?
It is the 14th, 15th, and 16th,
okay,
if I remember
15th,
correctly.
16th.
I think it's, I think that's when
this week coming up.
Yeah. The other thing that's coming up that's really important, we're already having people apply, is our business 90-day business mastermind. This is online. This is where crazy transformations take place. This is something where we're only accepting 5 people. So if you are someone that's been interested last year or the year before, this is our 3rd or 4th year doing this.
This is the 3rd, I believe.
3rd year doing this business mastermind. So this is another thing that's coming up. The last thing that I want to share on here too is April, the Psychic Medium Retreat, another place that crazy experiences happen, transformations and shifts, April 23rd to the 26th. So if you're a student of mine, join us. Tony's going to be teaching there. We have amazing people that are going to be there, and it's going to be a magical experience.
And here's the thing, with the 90-day mastermind and the retreat, it doesn't matter if you're already making $1 million a year or anything like that. There's always a new level to go to. There's always more reflection we could do. There's always more things that can happen, more transformations that can happen. So whether you're somebody just starting out in your business, but you're serious about it and you're ready to like up level, you have to be serious about it, or you're somebody making $1 million plus a year, this 90-day mastermind is for you.
Yeah, and the last thing about the 90-day mastermind that we need to say, like a disclaimer on this is not just about business. What's going to end up happening is there's just layers that are going to come out from you. So you have to be willing to be vulnerable. If you're not ready for that, it's not the right time for you at all. It's either you're all in or you're not in at all. So we want to make sure that the people that are in the group are exactly how it's been for us the past few years. Perfect people that have been in the group because they're ready to be vulnerable. And that's why the transformation has been so huge for them, because they were willing to open up their hearts and really get real with what's going on in their business and in their life. So if you have any questions, let's let us know, and we will see you soon. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.